But the bottom of the mine shaft was below the water line, so they had to build a wheel to pump the water from the mine. And the laxy wheel keeps turning, turning, turning in Lady Isabella's memory. And while the water flows, the laxy wheel still goes, and the laxy river runs down to the sea. For 3/4 of a century there were fortunes lost and found, as the miners dug the lead and zinc from underneath the ground. Then came a Great Depression in 1929, and the miners drew their wages for the last time at the mine. But the laxy wheel keeps turning, turning, turning in Lady Isabella's memory. And while the water flows, the laxy wheel still goes, and the laxy river runs down to the sea.
wonderful four-cylinder sound dominated 5 glorious years of TT history. Take 1957, for instance, when Bob McIntyre did the double on his Gilera 4s and became the first man to lap the island at over 100 miles an hour. Here's Bob leaving Craignabar on the last lap of the senior, chased by second man John Surtees on his MV.
Fabulous, terrific, listen!
1957 was also the first and last year the fabulous Guzzy V8 appeared in the island. Dickie Dale rode it, and this is what it sounded like. Now on to 1958, when Jeff Duke made a really sparkling getaway in the senior on his German BMW. Jeff retired later, but here's Dickie Dale on his BMW, which lasted the full distance. A 1958 sensation was Bob McIntyre's incredible lap at 99.9 on his Manx Norton, which sounded superb. But 1958 was really John Surtees' year, for he won the junior and the senior on his MV4s. Listen to his senior bike at Craignabar. In 1959, Japanese machines made their first TT appearance. Here's Taniguchi's Honda Twin, which finished 6th in the 125 race. Now, contrast the little Honda engine with the mighty MV4s of Surtees and Hartle as they get away for a practice lap on the mountain circuit. Here's another MV. A 250 twin this time, ridden by the brilliant Tarquinio Provini, who won both the 125 and 250 races on the Clips course. Another contrast now. The BMW outfits of Walter Schneider, 1959 sidecar TT winner, and Pip Harris. Dreadful weather, the 1959 senior TT was cancelled on the Friday, so it was on Saturday that the first man to leave, Bob McIntyre, got away on his Norton. Next, it was John Hartle's MV. But at the end of lap 1, Surtees shot by in the lead, with a new lap record in the bag. Then, down came the rain, soaking, blinding, torrential rain, and down came the speeds. Here's the Norton of second-place man, Alistair King, at Craignabar. After a positively inspired ride, following a 12-minute pit stop, McIntyre finished 5th. No wonder, for this was how he was going. John Surtees won, achieving the double-double, junior and senior wins 2 years in succession. How did he feel after his magnificent ride in appalling conditions?
Well, I just feel very, very cold and I can't hardly move at the moment, but I certainly wouldn't like to have to ride another race like it.
Have you got cramps? Yes, 1959 was very much John Surtees' year. So here, once more, is that magnificent MV of his. In 1960, the 10.8-mile Clips course was dropped, and all 5 TTs were held on the magnificent 37 3/4-mile mountain circuit. Here's a couple of memories from the sidecar race. First, Chris Vincent's BSA at Sulby Bridge. And here at Union Mills is the BMW outfit of Pip Harris, who was second. '60 saw the debut of the wonderful 4-cylinder Honda 250. Tom Phillis and Bob Brown had theirs on full song as they chased Eddie Crooks's MZ. Listen to Ubiali's MV and Provini's Morini at Signpost Corner during their terrific dice for second place in the 250 TT. John Surtees retired from motorcycle racing in 1960, and his last TT was his greatest island victory. He not only won the senior, thus becoming the first man to win 3 senior TTs in succession, but created a new lap record at over 104 miles an hour. Here's a montage of sounds made by John's MV during that scorching swan song of his. Let's not forget that in 1960, the island was lapped at over the ton by a single-cylinder machine for the first time. In fact, 2 brilliant riders did it, Derek Minter and Mike Hailwood on Norton's. Here they are together at Cronk Earth. So now, on to one of the greatest TT years ever, 1961. Hondas took the first 5 places in the 125 race, and Mike Hailwood won his first TT. The 250 race was dominated by the Tokyo firm too. 6 of the amazing Honda 4s took part, and right from the start, Bob McIntyre set the pace. Behind McIntyre, Hailwood on his Honda 4 and Hocking on the lone MV Twin were battling wheel to wheel for second place. Here they are at Signpost Corner. On the second lap, McIntyre circulated at a fantastic 99.6 miles an hour, and this is what his Honda sounded like round the course. But on the last lap, Mack retired, and Hailwood went on to win his second TT in one day. In Wednesday's junior TT, there was an MV, Nortons, AJS's, and 2 Italian Bianchi twins. Here's McIntyre's Bianchi. And there were 2 Czechoslovakian Jawa twins. This one's Stasny's. After a race full of excitement, with first Hocking and then Hailwood losing the lead, Phil Reed won on a Norton, the first TT win for a British machine since 1954. But the climax of 1961 was the senior TT, when Mike Hailwood wore down Hocking's MV, won the race and created history by winning 3 TTs in 1 week. So let us pay tribute to this truly great rider and the equally great Norton concern by following Hailwood round the world's greatest course on his last victorious lap.
Number 3, way out in his last lap. Richly deserved.
Was the superlative John Surtees on his way to victory in the 1960 Senior TT with a lap record at over 104 miles an hour to become the first man ever to score a hat-trick in any TT class. Let's hear some more. The 226 miles in under 2 hours 13 minutes, John also became the first man to average over 100 miles an hour for a TT at 102.44, nearly 5 miles an hour faster than the 1959 winning average. And with good reason, for the 1959 senior was held in appalling conditions. This is what the rain-sodden Surtees told me after his victorious nightmare of a ride.
John, congratulations on a fantastic victory. What was it like and how do you feel?
Well, I just feel very, very cold and I can't hardly move at the moment, but I certainly wouldn't like to have to ride another race like it.
Well, have you got cramp?
It came on a little about midway during the race, and the main thing is I do suffer from cold in my hands. And, well, I can't even feel them at the moment.
One last question. What was it like on the mountain on those very bad laps?
Well, I said, I just don't want to ever do it again.
Well, when he won that 1959 senior, John was 25, a Londoner whose parents lived and breathed motorcycling. He himself had been racing for nearly 10 years, first as his father's grass-track sidecar passenger, and then on a 500 Vincent in 1951, followed by a 500 Norton, on which he was 6th in the 1952 Ulster. King of Brands by 1953 and all but unbeatable on any short circuit, he also frequently rode the 250cc REG Twin. In 1954 on Norton's, John finished 11th in his junior TT debut, won the 350 Hutchinson 100 and led Jeff Ducan the Gilera at the Silverstone meeting till Bevel trouble stopped him. Then in 55 he joined the Norton team and also rode a lightweight NSU. Here is the German 250. Also in 1955 he made his continental debut at Mette, finishing second in the 350 and 500 races. Then he took 4th place in the Junior TT and 3rd in the German Grand Prix to finish 6th in the 350 championship table. Here he is finishing at the Nürburgring. Then when Norton stopped works racing, Surtees joined MV, and with 500cc wins in the TT, Dutch and Belgian, he won the world title, despite breaking his arm in the German. Here he is at full song. Unworried by his accident, he rode as hard as ever in 57. Remember the way he fought back against Bob McIntyre in the senior TT, even though 2 minutes down on time on the 8th and final lap.
Surtees has taken McIntyre on the straight here. Fantastic, fabulous, terrific. Listen to them.
With Gilera and Gutsy out, after 57, Surtees reigned supreme, winning nearly every classic he contested and shattering lap records time and again. Listen to him breaking the lap record before the rains came in the 1959 senior. But there were setbacks. In 1960, for example, when gearbox trouble in the junior TT robbed him of a seemingly certain, unique treble double and left him second to teammate John Hertel. Yet John Surtees never gave in easily. Witness the 1960 500 Dutch TT, when, after several pit stops, he fought back so hard that he crashed. Even so, he went on to score his 3rd successive double championship, before retiring at the end of the season to turn with equal brilliance to cars. So finally, let's listen again to the war cry of the MV in the hands of its supreme master. That was TT history in the making, as Bob McIntyre clinched the 1957 Junior-Senior double, after notching the first ever ton-plus mountain circuit lap on his 500cc Gilera. And here, over 2 minutes ahead on time, he streaks to victory wheel to wheel with John Surtees MV. Now compare the sound that marked Mac's Ireland debut in 1952, his 2nd racing season. A 350 BSA, on which, despite trouble, the stocky 24-year-old Glaswegian set a new lap record and finished 2nd in the junior Clubmans TT. Later, the same year, he underlined his mountain mastery with this 7R AJS. On that AJ, he both won the Junior Manx Grand Prix and was 2nd in the senior. No wonder that next season, 1953, he was harrying worksmen on the AJ and this G45 matchless. No wonder either that he was in the AJS team for 1954, when, with the thunder of works Gileras, Guzzes, MVs and Nortons echoing across Europe, he scored leaderboard placings in the Swiss, Dutch, Belgian and Ulster Classics. But then AJS stopped racing, and for the next 2 years, 55 and 56, Bob tuned and rode Joe Potts Nortons with outstanding skill, finishing second in the 1955 Junior TT, splitting the works Guzzes, and fifth in the Senior, behind Duke, Armstrong, Kavanagh and Brett. Here he is at full song on his 500 Norton. In 1957, with Duke injured, Gilera signed McIntyre. And besides that historic TT double, he notched a new Hockenheim lap record at over 129 miles an hour in the 500 German Grand Prix. All but dead heating with teammate Liberati ahead of Walter Zeller's BMW and Dickie Dale on his Guzzi V8. In the 500 Dutch, he made a fantastic bid to wrest back the lead from John Surtees' MV after a plug change. That tigerish pursuit ended in a crash which broke a vertebra in Bob's neck. Yet even so, the steel-hard Scot was second in the 500 Ulster and won the 350 Italian Grand Prix, taking second place in both world title tables. But then Gilera quit racing, and Max sang his swan song on the 350 at Monza, with an awe-inspiring 1-hour record at 141 miles an hour, which, 5 years later, still stands. So, back to Joe Potts, singles and British circuits. Yet in the island, Mac remained a constant threat to the mighty MV4s. Remember the 1959 Junior, when he split Surtees and Hartle for 4 laps, till vibration forced his AJ out. Remember the rain-lashed Senior, 3 days later, when, in spite of an unflustered stop of over 12 minutes to repair his Norton's clutch, he then outsped everyone to finish fifth. And remember too, the 1960 Junior TT, when, on an AJS, he failed to snatch second place from Surtees and his sick MV by only 26 seconds. Then, in 1961, came a victorious debut on a Honda 4 at Aintree in September and a works contract with Bianchi. So, as Graham Walker pointed out, Bob's stable for that year's TT was somewhat unusual.
Oh, Mac, I know you've appreciated already the joke of you riding a 4-cylinder in the 250, a 2-cylinder in the 350 and a single cylinder in the 500.